I'm so excited about the Holistic Nourishment Retreat that Kaylee Vaya and I are hosting from the 29th of April to the 2nd of May. And one of the reasons I'm particularly excited about it is not only because it's going to be the first retreat that I co-host, and I'm doing it with a super competent, super amazing Kaylee, who has hosted a number of retreats. So she's definitely the more experienced of the two of us in this. But I'm excited because this is an opportunity for us to truly reconnect, not only with ourselves, but with one another. And so sometimes when you say retreat, people think, oh, that's just a fancy way of saying weekend away. You know, it's an excuse for a lot of people who think they're woke to commune with one another. But the truth is, it's so much more than that, and particularly at this time. So do you know what the biggest predictor of chronic disease is in the Western world right now? You may think it's obesity, you may think it's diet, you may think it's nutrition, which is diet, Loretta. You may think it's sleep or hydration or exercise. It's actually none of those things. It's loneliness. It's a sense of isolation. And the one thing that this pandemic has done is it has forced us to isolate, for good or bad. And there has been a sense of disconnection with others. And some of us have lost that sense of connection, not only with others, but it's truly highlighted our loss of connection with ourselves. Because when we went into the sort of whole lockdown, or if we had COVID and we had to isolate, or if we were in contact with someone who had COVID and we had to isolate, we were basically left with ourselves. Maybe one or two of our nearest and dearests, but basically ourselves. And the stress associated with that is directly proportional to the sense of disconnect that we have from ourselves. And on top of that, we've been forced to disconnect from others. And as a consequence of that, it has actually ratcheted up our stress beyond what we actually even are aware of. And so this is subtle. We've become sort of used to it now, you know. It's become not old hat, but you know, we've gotten used to it. We bitched and moaned in the beginning, and we more or less resigned. And this is not about the pandemic at all. This is just about the fact that we have been in isolation, in a form of isolation, for 2 years as a world. And many of us are disconnected from ourselves, and we feel disconnected from those that we love because we physically have been isolated from them. And so one amazing thing that the retreat gives us an opportunity to do is to reconnect with ourselves. That's why it's the Holistic Nourishment Retreat. It's how can you nourish yourself optimally? How can you use nourishment, whether that's emotional nourishment or food or water or exercise or pleasure? How can you use that nourishment to connect deeply with yourself? Because here's the thing. The more deeply you connect with yourself, the more deeply you can connect with those that you love. So if you are ready to nourish yourself, if you are ready to form a deep connection with yourself, if you are ready to connect with other like-minded people, and if you are ready to get yourself out of isolation and reconnect in a way that is not just social, but is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, then the Holistic Wellness Retreat is definitely for you. This is an opportunity not to be missed. You all know that May in East London is a good time for the weather. It's not too hot, hasn't got cold yet, and generally the wind doesn't blow so badly. The location is absolutely beautiful. There will be time for alone time. There will be time for beach walks. There's going to be yoga. There's going to be talk circles. There's going to be sharing. There's going to be some teaching and learning. There's going to be amazing plant-based food. And there's going to be an opportunity for you to disconnect from all the noise that's been taking up space in your head, reconnect with yourself, and reconnect with other like-minded individuals. So I really, really, really hope to see you there.